there, it's Amy Kunkel, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and blogger at crazybeautiful.com. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the construction of this card, since it's a really simple card and it's primarily made in our My Digital Studio. Now, as of May 31st, My Digital Studio will be gone. So this is one of those programs I think you can get and just use it and not really need updates. I've had mine for years and haven't even updated it. So I'm going to just show you how I cut this. I'll include the an image of my MDS file, and I'm happy to share that file with anyone that requests it. I usually like to cut the shortest distance first. So I'm cutting the 5 1/4 dimension, and it's cutting on this side. So I did 5 1/4 so that I could have a mat under it. Okay. And I did 2 different fonts, and this is just a great way to use your computer and your font files to do text for making a card. Okay, then I lined this up so that I can just cut this right at 4, and that will be 1 card front, and then this will be for an additional card later. So I have a lot of family out of town and would like to send them Easter cards, so I'll be making several cards here. The My Digital Studio is also a really easy way to make a bunch of cards fast, because as you can see, the card fronts are already done for 2 of my cards. Now I'm going to take my Hardwood background stamp and ink it up with soft suede, and I'm just making a cross. You can just lay that right on there and grab a piece of scrap paper to smooth it out and get the pattern to transfer over. And now I have what's going to be the base for my cross. And I'm going to grab my paper trimmer back. I'm going to cut 1/2 inch strips of this piece of scrap paper here that I've stamped on. Okay, now the last one I'm going to measure on this side because it'll hold it down better with this bar. And there we go. Okay, then the next step is to just make it into your cross. This is a 5 1/4 piece, and I've cut each of them at 3 1/4. And I'm just going to take the shorter of the 2 and add a glue dot to the middle, and using my grid paper I'm just going to line that up and make all of my crosses. My card base is going to be Elegant Eggplant, and I'm going to just take the edge that didn't want to cut through 2 at once and trim that corner around just this corner. And don't forget the insert piece. Since this is a dark card base, you're going to want to have an insert that matches. So let me get that in. You can also print on your insert. Instead of making 4 of these, you can do 2 of the front and do 2 of the insert with more of a personal message that you might want to send to all your family. I'm going to add a couple layers under this. I really, really love the Gold Soiree Designer Series paper. So my first layer on here is just going to be 1 1/4 by a 4 inch strip. And it's actually kind of like shiny, so I'm going to add my adhesive on there because it did not stick very well when I put it on the back of the paper. Okay, so go ahead and add that on. And I'm going to show you just a fun trick with my next layer that I'm adding. Okay, I'm going to start with the third from the largest circle framelits, and I'm going to run it through my Big Shot with part of the edge hanging off. And this is just going to allow me to have a partial circle on my card front and a nice straight line as the edge. Okay, then for the embossing folder, I want my dots to start in this corner here and sort of fade as they go up in this direction here. So I'm going to start by putting that direction into my folder and in the Big Shot first. And I'm putting it on tab 1 for textured impressions embossing folders. And I'm going to run it through about maybe 75% of the way and come back through. So what you have is a pattern kind of like that, and this area over here that has not been embossed. Okay, and to not have such an abrupt edge here, I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to smooth back some of these dots so it really looks like it's fading from this edge out. Okay, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I think if you try it on your own, you'll see how you can smooth these dots down. And that's kind of just a cool technique to try. So I'm going to bring my card back here and finish assembling it. Okay, so I'm going to add this on with glue dots, and right around that bottom edge of my circle, I'm just going to trim the cross off a tiny bit so that it kind of goes along the shape of that circle. So here's my finished card. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you try this faded embossing on your own, and have a great day.